Well, hello everybody. Welcome to our workshop from the 2022 Open Simulator Community Convention. Today's workshop is going to be a presentation on system clothing design by Beth Ghostraven. So please give a good welcome to Beth, and Beth, please go ahead when you're ready.
Hi, welcome to a workshop on hopefully helping you understand and make system clothing. Um, let's see, there is a toolbox on the table right here. Why don't you click that and go ahead and add that to your inventory? And I made a helpful slide here. I'll show that. Showing you what to do. First, click on the toolbox, and then you'll need to look in your inventory in the recent tab. The folder is called GPA Toolbox Giver. Once you find that, right click on the GPA toolbox and click Add, not Where, and then it will ask you. It says it has given you touch it, add it and touch it, and then it will say it has given you this folder, Toolbox Clothing Building Tools. You click Accept, and then also in the recent tab, you'll see that folder and the content where the number 5 is. So go ahead and do that and type a Y in chat. Um, James, would you like that in Second Life or Zoom chat?
I think people could respond in inworld since that's where the
Okay,
activity's happening. Yep.
thank you. In World, not Second Life. I knew I was going to do that.
Mm-hmm. They're so similar.
Okay. Ubit, are you able to get it? And hopefully I'm saying your name right. Okay, good. He says all 3 copies. So you'll see a number of tools in there. Let's see. There are some textures. Can you see my mouse on the screen, James?
Yep.
Okay. So there are some textures like this one, 4-tile 3. The next thing is pants. You can see the little pants symbol. Fleet Grid, jeans, happy. Those are from Fleet Tooth. And then there are a couple of more textures. Editing sleeve lengths. We'll talk about those. There's the Ghost Raven Professional Attire Info and Philosophy. You can ignore that for now. Some more clothing. And I'm hearing an echo from somewhere. There is an object, the Paramount Skirt Builder utility. Um, Leo, that's what you'll need to make skirts. So you can res that out. I need to unpack it. And I didn't realize it has a picture on the box. Here, hang on. That explains a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so I can delete that. Um, there's a pose stand. You won't need it, but in case you want to use it later, that's what you'll need to res to stand. And then the resources note card, you probably got that if you were at the presentation. The T-pose, you can, oh good, Marcus has the pose stand,
Yep,
awesome.
he's on it.
The T-pose is what you can also use to stand. So right here, animation T-pose. if I click play in world or play locally, it makes me stand. This is handy for when you're editing attachments like jewelry, so you don't move. And you also, can you see my Firestorm controls at the bottom?
Yes, I can see them.
Okay. Right here, there is another pose stand. And you can click that and it will do either the T pose, or you can pose your avatar in various ways and it will hold you still, as opposed to an animation, which may or may not hold you still. Okay. The UVSL avatar bottom, head, top, and skirt, those are the UV maps for different parts of your body. So the textures that we make for virtual worlds, for this type of virtual worlds, are flat, they're 2D. And this shows in detail how it will map onto your avatar's body, which is 3D. That's really helpful when you're trying to figure out seams and things like that. Let's take a look at this. There's Dave.
Yep.
Hi, Dave. Welcome.
He's still in the process of arriving, I'm sure.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I had a question about that texture.
Sure.
When you see it in 2D, it has some colored bands going across
Mm-hmm.
it, and they kind of go at different angles. Do they end up being horizontal when the texture's applied to the skin or to the
You would
clothing?
think so, but not really.
Oh,
Let's
okay,
see.
okay,
They kind of zigzag a little bit. They are
okay.
more horizontal than you would think,
Mm-hmm.
but like up top here, you can see where it goes in and out sort of over the chest area.
Right, right. That's
But
such a.
these lines here, like this green line here
Mm-hmm.
and the blue line, that will help you match up necklines between the front and back of the outfit. And
Mm-hmm.
then here's another line here. They help you match up the arms with the front and back of the body. So
Okay,
there are
so
all kinds
those,
of,
yeah, those patterns are a little more about what cut of clothing than they are about
yeah,
kind of what the body is being represented. Okay, thank you.
right. But I can also change a texture to fit onto an area. Like for instance, on the back, here, I probably should take my hair off so you can see. I need to find some good short hair.
Mm.
You can see how the back is kind of swoopy. Um, I tried making plaid shirts and they come out okay, but sometimes they look a little weird. So I tried manipulating the plaid so it would, you know, do these lines more. Oh, thank you, Leah. She sent me some hair.
And it's beautiful. It's like well, it's really fun. Wait to put it on. It's called Daffy.
Where's my inventory? I'm going to take off the HUD for the screen because I'll share the slideshow in world.
Mm.
I mean, and I'm going to add this, having found out the hard way that,
I put it on too for you.
Nice.
oh, very nice. All right. At least it's shorter. I'm so used to getting things free in OpenSim that I'm really reluctant to actually buy anything.
I know that feeling.
I mean, I don't like buying things in Second Life either, but I'm more used to it. And the things in OpenSim, especially in Kitely, seem to be a lot more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What I would like you to do next is put on some sort of system piece of clothing. So it can be from this folder, it can be something that you already have on. Um, but make sure that you can see it, that you don't have other layers on top of it. Ubit, that's mostly what I have too. I don't know that I have any mesh in OpenSim. And I don't like mesh. As those of you who know me know, it's really, with me, it's really a philosophical thing. I don't like somebody else determining what my shape should be. And if I'm wearing a piece of mesh clothing, it's like putting on a big piece of plastic. I could res the clothing and stand in it, and it would be the same effect. And then because it doesn't fit my avatar's shape, I have things that stick out in some places and things that aren't big enough in other places. I wear an alpha, which hides parts of my body, but then that doesn't really work either because the places where I don't stick out enough look blank, and you can kind of see through them to whatever I'm standing in front of.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to look like me. Um, that's just a preference of mine. I don't mind if other people wear mesh clothing and avatars. That's awesome. There's a lot of detail, and I love, yeah, I love mesh jewelry and hair and shoes and things like that. But those aren't as subject to size. Um, Pretty much the same jewelry fits the same way. Same with shoes, but clothing's a little different. And you could see probably if we all lined up and all put on this UV suit, it would look different on each of us. Do any of you have mesh avatars on right now?
I don't.
No, I'm not
It
mesh.
doesn't look like it, right?
No.
And Ubin, I'm sure yours is not mesh. Okay, good. That will make it easier for you. Hi, son. Welcome in world.
Yeah, Marcus says not he either.
So what you can do to see what you have on is click the Worn tab in your inventory, and you can expand it. The body parts folder I can minimize. The objects is my hair. Now these are the clothing layers that I'm wearing. So if I want to edit one of these clothing layers, I can right click on it and click edit. And then the editing undershirt window comes up. Now notice this is a texture template. It's untinted. So there's only so much that I can do with this. Let me put myself in a T pose. Would it help if I put my avatar away from everybody else?
I don't know. I don't think it's a problem. Let's watch chat
Okay.
and see what people say.
I just have too many things open
We,
here. Let's see.
everybody is so adept typically at camming around to what they want to see.
Mine is a mesh, by the way. This is the Ruth 2.0.
Okay.
Ah, okay.
Hopefully these system layers will work for you, Dave. So if I can change the length of the sleeves, I can't make them longer, but these sleeves are already 100% anyway. I can make them shorter though with these sliders. See how the sleeve just rolls up here and in. inventory, there are a couple of textures in here that show you about editing sleeve length. And the reason you might find these helpful is that it shows you what percentage you need for different kinds of sleeves. So if you want 3/4 sleeves, you set your sleeve length at 75%. If you want elbow length, 70, short sleeves, 60%. A muscle top is 25% and a tank top is 15%. Now, obviously, you could set it at whatever you want, but those are just some guidelines.
So when you sell a shirt and somebody buys it, it'll come with that setting already chosen, right? So if you're selling a short
Right.
sleeve, yeah, okay. Yep.
Well, the short sleeve shirts that I sell, I made before I started doing this. Now all the shirts that I make are long sleeve because people can make them shorter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hopefully people get that. I put this texture in with everything I sell that can be edited like that.
Yeah, I think you told me before you can always shorten it, but you can't always lengthen it.
Exactly. And that goes for everything. So if I want to make the sleeves go all the way like this, I can. If I want to make the bottom shorter, I can do that too. See how it makes a little top.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah.
collar I can change. So that's how the back changes. And then
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that when you're editing, nobody sees what you're doing in world.
right, and then the collar can change too. And fortunately, you can only change the collar so much. It won't completely take away things covering you. I think. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's what it looks like at 0. And if you're a guy, that probably looks kind of strange.
But if you go beyond that, do you even really need a shirt?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Has everybody had a chance to play around with that? If you have made changes,
Yep. Yep.
you
I,
can, like any other computer file, this is a computer file. You can save it as a different file, or you can save it to alter your original file. So if I want to save this as something different, I click Save As, and it will either put the parentheses new after it, or you can take that out. And now it's called something totally different. And in my inventory, recent, you can see that's not. Okay, I'm not looking in the right folder. In the folder that it's in, it shows as 2 different files, the original one and then the cropped one.
Yep.
And then you can go back to appearance. In appearance, you also can look at the wearing tab to see what you're wearing and then
Oh,
edit
Beth,
things from here. Yeah.
one thing you can do if you want to find things quickly like that, when you're in your recent folder at the top of your tabs there, if you click on the one that you want to find out where it is in your inventory, you right click on it and you tell it to show it to you in the main inventory.
Okay.
Show in main view.
So in main view, there it is. So you can see I have 2 shirts here. Thank you, Dave. GPA UV
Welcome.
upper and GPA UV upper cropped. Let's take a look at the presentation a minute. If you look back in Zoom, James is sharing the screen here. I
Mhm.
think, or no, I am. Sorry.
Yep.
Never mind. Let's see. That's about adding clothing. This is the same presentation that I did at the conference. These are permissions. And here, this is what I was just showing you. So if you want to tint something, now this shirt that I have on is not grayscale, but parts of it are. So let's see, UV upper cropped. I can right click and edit it. In the color/tint box, I can open this up and it gives me a standard color picker. If I have a hex code I want to use already, and I do this a lot because I keep colors standard that I sell, or you can just use the things at the bottom. See how it colored the whole thing red?
Yep.
I can use the tint picker to make it lighter or darker. I can make it a different color. Oh, that's a nice blue. If I want to keep it that color, I must click OK for it to stay that way. Otherwise, it won't. If I did that and then I don't want to save it that way, I can click undo changes and it'll revert to the same part.
Oh, also, Beth, if folks are trying to figure out what colors work well together,
Mm-hmm.
Adobe has a thing that they offer for free. It's color.adobe.com, and it gives you the different color schemes so that you can see what are monochromatic, complementary colors, split complementary triad. So you get to see, as you take your colors and you move them around, you see how you can tell what colors work well together, in a set.
Oh, cool. Will you type that into chat, please?
Sure.
Thanks. Okay, I'm going to take another look at the slideshow. So prim clothing and hair, if it's modifiable, you can change it. So make a copy and pose. That's what the T-pose animation dialog box looks like. So let me go back to, you're going to wear something and then right click it and edit it, just like you would with the system clothing. So let me go back to what I'm wearing. Okay, I am wearing an object. Let's see, I'm going to edit that. And you can see it lights up. Now, what I didn't do is make a copy like I told you you should. So before I start playing with it, I'm going to copy it and then right click and paste it. And it's not going to show in recent, or no, it will. It's not going to show in worn, but it'll show in recent. So I paste it and there it is. Okay, now I
Yep.
can play with this and I'm saved. I cannot tell you how many times I have completely wrecked something that I've worked on.
So easy to do, right?
Yeah. But luckily, a lot of the designers that I work with are really, really nice. And I found this out because I wrecked something and told them, and they said, "Oh, let me give you another copy." So if that happens to you, try that.
Yeah, good community.
Even if you can't modify an object, unless it's a rigged mesh object, you can move it around if you want. And okay, that didn't work. So the Control Z thing does not work in OpenSim. So I don't know where this is
I
now.
don't know where it went.
Control D, was it?
Z. for
See,
undo.
yeah,
Yeah,
you,
just
you
a
don't want to
general undo.
use you,
Yeah.
you don't want to use undo in OpenSim. If you move prims and you use it and they're linked, it screws it up because it basically destroys your prim set.
Right.
I'm surprised they still haven't fixed that in the code, but
Your hair is floating just a little bit to the right of you.
Yep.
Oh, good find. Thanks, Marcus.
So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Oh, I know. Wait a minute. I have to detach it first, and then I can delete it. So that was. So as a teacher, one of the first things I learned was that when you screw up demonstrating something, just pretend like you meant to do it that way.
That's right.
a
I
training
figure
moment.
I'm
Yep.
always demonstrating best practices for what to do when you mess up, because if you don't mess up, you're not learning anything. Paste, and there's another.
Yeah, if I lose a file on a big project, I'll say, well, I'm just going to redo it better.
Yeah, I've done that too. I did that
Mhm.
with my shop at the on the conference grid.
Oh,
I
right.
removed the whole thing and then I
Yep.
rebuilt it. I learned a lot about making a building, and it has about 100 fewer prims.
Oh, lightweight.
Yeah, lighter. It was one of Fleet's freebies. I wish I had that building in Second Life, but I can make this bigger or
I think you can
smaller.
you might be able to actually export it from OpenSim and then bring it in as a link set.
Oh, yeah, it'd be nice to try that because it is um, full perm.
Because they got that one where you run it and it basically creates it like it was making it from scratch.
I haven't tried that
Yeah.
yet. So if I wanted to recolor this, I can go to the texture tab. And I can't really, it has multiple textures because each of these strands of hair is a different object that's combined,
Hmm.
that's linked. So you can see this has 115 land impact. So it has 115 pieces, and I can move any of those. And that's really helpful if I'm trying to get hair out of my eyes. But if I wanted to recolor it, let's see what happens if I make it bright red. So now it's a really dark auburn color. And because it's brown to begin with, there's not a whole lot I can do with it. But if it was light blonde, for instance, I could make it pretty much any color I want. So that's blue. And again, it's just more like black because it was so dark to begin with. But you get the idea.
Yep.
Be careful when you're messing with linked things, especially with jewelry. Sometimes a necklace will be made of, like a pearl necklace will be made of a strand of, say, 50 pearls, and each pearl is an individual object. And if you start moving them around, then you run the risk of making a big mess. Many pieces of jewelry and hair and things like that that you buy have resized scripts in them. So you can click it and you can resize it up or down with the script. I tried that with the skirt resizer script that I have, and it made a horrible mess with my skirt. But that was me trying to create the skirt and then change it. So
Well, what's the phrase? You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
exactly, yeah, yeah. So where are we in the presentation? Let's see. Okay, making system clothing from scratch. In my inventory, I can right click or go down here to the plus tab. If I do it from here, if I make new clothes, it's going to put them in my clothing folder. If I want to make it in a particular folder, like say this one with the toolbox contents, I can right click on the folder and then click new clothes and click new shirt.
So
Then
each
if
of the items in that list, those are all the types of system clothing?
yeah.
Okay.
And the one that I've been playing with lately, because I have a dinky avatar, I've been playing with, wait a minute. I forget what it's called. New Universal. That's a way to make a tattoo layer, which goes under everything.
Oh, okay.
And that's the only way I can make a BOM layer, a baked on mesh layer for my dinky avatar, which is mesh. But it does work, but I have to have totally different maps for that. It doesn't work with the UV maps for a human avatar.
Okay.
Okay, I made a new shirt. If I want to edit it, I need to wear it, or I can click add if I'm already wearing another shirt. The shirt I'm wearing, I think, is an undershirt layer. Yeah, that you can see the little undershirt icon. That's an undershirt layer, so it's going to be worn under this new shirt. Now, I can't see it yet. Sometimes you have to edit it in order for it to show up. Okay, there it is. So it's completely white. It has the settings are set in some default way. I have no idea how they decide that. But you can change everything just like you would. And you can make it smaller, but not bigger. Each type of system clothing fits your body in a different way. So if you're making socks, they cover your feet, and they'll cover your legs up to about like thigh length. If you're making pants, they will not cover your feet, but they will cover your waist and abdomen and the top of your body all the way down to like your ankles, like like pants would. This UV outfit, I made pants and socks, so that you could see the UV layers on the socks too. So like if I want to edit the socks, I have those set at 35%. If I take those down to 0, it's like wearing slippers. If I put them at 100, they go up to just under where this turquoise blue area is. That shows you where the end of the sock layer is.
I see. Okay. And it's covered by the system pants. That's why we don't see it as you're adjusting it, right?
Right. And they have the same texture, so it just kind of blends in. If I edit the pants, let's see, the lower. And you can see the division.
Yep.
Now this is how I know men design this stuff. When you make the pants length 0, you can see your whole behind. If I was designing this, this would be 0. But that's just me.
Right.
If men were designing it, you'd have Goodyear blimps for boobs.
Yeah, sometimes they do in Second Life and in Open Sim. I've seen that. I had a woman outside my pub in Caledon one time who couldn't come in because her boobs wouldn't fit through the door.
Yeah, I was told that if you're ever curious if somebody's really not a female avatar, you can tell by how they shape themselves, and also do they ever change their clothes. If they don't change their clothes, there's a good chance they're not actually a female.
Yeah, you're right. Those are good things. I know a few guys with a big clothing wardrobe, but not many.
Yeah.
What else would you like to know?
How does Bakes on Mesh actually work? And is it limited as far as its application of just certain specific things?
Dave, do you know that? I don't know much about Bakes on Mesh.
Yeah, this is Sun Tzu. I don't really use it that much. That's why I was curious.
Well, you should probably ask Ubit since he's been working with it. He was whispering about it. But unfortunately, he's not in Zoom, so I don't mean to interrupt.
Well, he can hear me in world. I don't know if he can hear all of you.
He can't hear us in Zoom. No.
No. So you might repeat it back for Ubit.
Yeah, Beth, if you could say, Ubit, we're curious about how is it the universal layer, the baked on mesh works?
But we're trying to figure out how Bakes on Mesh works. Do you know? Can you explain it? And if the people in Zoom could use in-world voice, that would probably be helpful.
I unfortunately can't.
Okay.
I don't have a voice connection, and I've tried refreshing it several times. But that shouldn't stop the rest of you.
Yeah, I have something silly to ask. I'm using the Firestorm viewpoint, and where's the talk button? I know this sounds like a rookie. I normally use the Phoenix skin where we have a talk button and a chat, and I don't have a speak or a talk or anything. Where'd they put it?
I think typically it's in the bottom row of buttons.
Yeah, it's not there.
Yeah.
Guidebook, conversation, and fly is all I get.
Wow.
Okay, so I won't be turning mine on.
I think if you right-click any button, you get the button selector, and you could choose to drag a button to one of the 3 toolbars. So Ubit is chatting, and he says BOM is kind of simple. He says there are magic UUIDs, and when you put one of these on a mesh face and wear the mesh, and that's where I am with chat so far. Is that connecting for anybody?
Yeah, I wrote what are magic UUIDs, and he's probably still typing.
Yep. Well, I think one of the things that I understand about mesh, and this could be very wrong, but a mesh is it's a 3D file, and the texture in some way is inside the file, as opposed to a prim, which allows us as designers to keep the shape separate from the texture. So we have a very direct experience of putting texture on shapes. But a mesh really has all of those things combined, and it's designed in a separate editing tool from our OpenSim viewer. Does that sound about right?
I think you can still change the texture on a mesh after yeah, you can, because if it doesn't bring your textures in, you can apply them.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're not, it's just a matter, I mean, it would be nice if when you import it, I have had it happen a couple times on me where I import things. I think if they're in the same folder with the collada file, so sometimes it works, but it also depends on how you exported the model out. But it still has textures. It's just that you can't do things like faces, I think, quite the same way that you can with primitive objects.
Mesh objects can have faces, though. I bought
Yeah, they
several
can,
full
but it
perm
kind of
things.
depends on how they're modeled.
Right. Yeah. Okay, Ubit says the viewer sees it and replaces that face texture by the system avatar bake texture with that magic UUID. Let me see if my test message works. It is like Prims, well, on mesh for avatar. And I forgot to apologize for the mess up with the screens. I'm limited to just one screen at this point, and I'm so spoiled by usually having two.
Technology. You can always count on it to surprise us at the
Yeah,
last minute.
surprise us. Yeah.
Right.
Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Always have an alternate plan, right? And it looks like Marcus is typing.
Yep. I think one of the things that has kept me away from mesh is just some of these complexities. I feel like I understand prims and textures, and then mesh has just been out there for me somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I was considering to bring in is I have the Austin Tate put together a thing on how to bring in the Ready Player Me avatars. They're mesh, and you can't really change clothing unless you make variations of them, basically. But they're low poly, and they would give mesh avatars for folks that just wanted to look good, but didn't have to worry about changing clothes and all that stuff. But unlike like a mesh avatar with all the alphas and everything else, this would just be a thing where you just put one alpha on and one mesh, and it takes care of everything.
That sounds really boring to me. I
Yeah,
like the
and for some, yeah,
I like the mix and match thing where you can
yeah.
mix and match different layers. And it's harder
But
to
some,
do that
Yeah,
with
yeah,
me
mesh.
too, Beth. I'm a classic avatar, right?
Yeah.
And I love
yeah.
all the skirts and the attachments and the being able to wear my bird and do all my things and just feel like I have total control of my avatar. I think as an educator, that's critical for me.
And I think that's
Yep.
important for our students too.
Mhm.
So one thing I wanted to show you before we finish, and we don't have a whole lot of time left, is that I can put any of these textures on this shirt. If I want to put this seawater texture on, see how it makes this cool kind of tie-dye thing?
Yeah, I love that.
Or if I want to make it snow. And these textures that I've given to you are not from me. They're from the OpenSim library. That's where I got those from. So you can see how it's a snow texture. It's not plain white. But if I want to tint this, it's really easy to make it look like you want to. I see there's a nice purple color. I can make it lighter or darker. You get the picture. And if I want it to stay, I need to click OK. And then later, if I decide I don't want that, I can undo the changes. Now, I can't redo it, sadly, but that's okay. So right now this shirt is called new shirt. If I want to call it something else, I can change the name of it right here. So now it's new shirt 3. And click save, and it saves the name too. I can also rename it in my inventory. See how I can change, I'm pointing at the screen. You see how I can change the name right here. Or I can also go to properties and change it in here. And this is where I can change the permissions. So if I want to make this full perm, I just check modify and copy, and there it is. And the default that you use to create things depends on your settings, and that's in the building tab in your viewer.
Oh. So, for example, anything you create new will have the permission settings that you choose.
Right.
Okay.
And then you can always change them later.
Mm-hmm.
You can also upload your own textures. I have a lot of fun making textures. These are the socks that I made. I gave you a copy of those. The texture in these looks kind of weird, but it looks okay on the shirt. And that's tinted. And there's save as. And if you want, we can talk about making outfits, but you probably know how to do that.
Well, a quick overview might not hurt.
Okay.
They'd be surprised how many folks don't use that feature.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, you know.
Yeah, I have over 1,000 outfits in my Second Life
Oh,
inventory.
wow.
I have
You got pictures for everyone?
No.
10 lindens a pop. Yeah.
Huh.
But
Yeah.
most of the things that I buy come with pictures, so I keep a picture of it in the folder so I
Yeah.
can see what the outfits look like, because I do forget. But it's so much fun shopping my inventory and looking at some of the old outfits and thinking, oh wow, yeah, I really like that one.
Well, it was cool when they came out with the option that you could have the pictures with your stuff, so you can just look at the thumbnails of your outfits and pick which one you want to wear. Because
Right.
before that, Libby, what she had was this library thing that worked with the thing on the web, and it was a mess. You had to do all this stuff, but it gave you a closet for all of your clothes, so you could go in there and look at everything.
Yeah, I think I have something like that, but it wasn't worth the work to
Yeah,
set
it
it
was a lot of work, and then it stopped working.
up. Yeah. Okay, so here you can see I have an outfit on. I had saved this as my presentation outfit UV layers. Right here you can see it says unsaved changes. So just like any other file, I can either save it or I can save as. So if I want to save it as that outfit, I just click save. If I want to save it as a different outfit, it'll add the new at the end of it by default, or I can call it something different. My mouse is not even working right.
Oh.
So I'll call that UV layers 3. And it says now wearing. Sometimes you have to click the save button a couple times for it to take, but so that's really all there is to wearing an outfit. An outfit, let me show you the folder for outfits. These are just
Oh, wow.
links to the original articles that I'm wearing. So if I want to see what this is, I can right click it and it says find original, and it'll go to the original for me. So I don't have a whole lot of outfits in this inventory. I haven't played a lot with it. In fact, I only have between 11 and 12,000 elements in this inventory. In my other one, I have over 180,000.
Oh, goodness.
Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to affect my performance too much.
You want to show them your outfit window as well
What's
from the
that?
icon down below. Your outfit window, it's the one that looks like a t-shirt.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm looking at here, the appearance folder.
Yeah. And there you have an outfit gallery on the far left.
Yeah,
That's where you can have pictures of everything. So you, instead of a hanger there, it could be a photo of each thing.
right.
I never
It
look
makes
at
it a
that
little
tab.
easier to find it. Yeah.
How do I put a picture in there?
I think you just drag it onto it. So you take a picture of wearing the item, or if you have one that came with the item, you can probably just drag and drop it on the hanger. Either that, or maybe it's a matter of right clicking on the item. If you go where the hanger is, right click on it and see
Oh yeah,
Select
if I
photo.
right click,
select
it says
photo.
select photo, right?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and there you go. Yeah. I'm just a visual person, so seeing pictures of things makes it a lot quicker for me to put clothing on.
Me too.
The other thing I do is, like, for the musicians, I set up a version of their avatar with the HUD as an outfit, and then one without their walking HUD, with their guitar or whatever they're using for an instrument, and that way they can just go to their outfit window and switch between the two versions of themselves.
And Ubit is talking about his Bakes on Mesh avatar. He said he can't get OS Grid assets here. So I want to mention the
Oh,
suitcase
right.
in here because we are talking about OpenSim. When you travel between different grids, unless you're from OS Grid, I don't think they have a suitcase, but I think every other grid does. Then my suitcase, you'll have a duplicate of all the folders of things that you put in here. I might have more things in my suitcase than I have in the rest of my inventory. But when I'm traveling, I make sure that things I'm gonna wear are in my suitcase because otherwise I can't access them. So, Ubit, how does OS Grid manage transporting assets between grids? He was saying OS Grid has no suitcase, and that's where he's from.
Right.
Let me turn my voice on in both worlds. While he's answering
Oh.
that, I had noticed on my OS Grid character that I don't have a suitcase, right? They use a different method. So I'm not quite sure. What I do is I
think
put
everything
everything in my
just
suitcase
goes with
before I
you.
go there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ubit says it should just work from main inventory.
Yeah, but it's basically taking your entire inventory with you when you go hypergridding, and that's why it might be faulty at times and not work.
Okay.
That would be my guess anyways. I don't use my OS Grid avatar as much. I have one there, but it's a lot easier using ones from other grids.
He says the suitcase is a security add-on. And Austin Tate is working on some kind of thing that's like a suitcase to transport assets between grids, and I can't remember exactly what the special thing is about it, but that's something that should help a lot.
Now, Beth, I was inspired by the box you had for the skirt adjustments for the pleat. So I made a pleat while you were talking, and then I put a little script in to copy it 20 times or 19 times, and and I'll click my little thing. And of course, I'm getting a little script error on this one, probably because the pleat already depleted. Let's see. Oh, I have to rename it.
Leah,
Yeah,
what should I zoom in on?
What's that?
What should I zoom in on? I can't tell what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Do you see my avatar?
Yeah.
Okay. You see this cylinder here?
Yeah.
I made one pleat and then I clicked it and it made all these pleats. And then I turned them inside out and put it on my avatar. and adjusted it, and I'm wearing it right now.
Wow.
Oh, so you made a
What
skirt.
I made while you were, yes, while you were teaching.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like.
So what you reinvented is, here, let me close my suitcase so I'm not
Well,
so
this comes from
confused.
Dr. Fran Babcock. Remember Dr. Fran?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of her designs from, I think, 2007 or so. And I've used it quite a bit to make clothing. But it's a fast way. Yeah, yes.
The Paramore skirt making thingy that I gave you boxed does that. So let me res that. And you can stand on it or not, but either way, whoa. There you're standing on, no, there it is. If you click it, it asks how many trims you want to res. And you can do more or less. You click res. And it makes the prims. I should have showed this earlier. We are about out of time, or we are out of time.
Look at all those skirts.
Yeah.
How fun.
There, yours looks nice and floaty. So on this
Yes, I
one,
adjust. I made it flexy before I got started, see?
okay.
And then I made sure that I flipped it 180 degrees. So, so the flex is in the right area.
Right.
I love things that move though.
So with this skirt maker, you can see it has another object over here that you can edit. And that's what you can put your texture on for your skirt, and you can edit different properties. And then on the other side is this thingy. And if you edit this, it changes the size of the waist and the amount of flare. And the default flare is 45. And I find that makes for a really sticky out skirt, like a 50 poodle skirt or something. So I make that lower. But I'm working on changing the flexi thing settings so it makes it more floaty.
That is so
But
cool.
then when you're done with all of the edits that you want to do, you click link, and then it asks you permission. Is this okay? And if you don't see it, you can click your notifications right here and look in the system tab, trim skirt and object owned by blah, blah, blah. Is this okay? And then you bring it up that way.
Wow.
So if you have your inventory closed or minimized, the notification will come up. If you have your inventory open so you can see it, and it tells you in chat what it's doing. Finish linking, please pick up your skirt. So here it is. I right click it and click take. And usually I rename it before I pick it up so I can keep it straight. But in case I didn't, it will say trim skirt in my object tab.
Yeah.
When you wear it, you're going to want to attach to your pelvis, because otherwise, if you just click add, it will add it to your right hand. I think that's the default.
That's the default, right?
Yeah.
I've worn so
So
many
you
things
click
on my right hand.
pelvis, and it comes out really low. So, oops. I can right click and edit it. So if you're wearing an object, you can not only right click it in your inventory and edit it, you can right click it on you and edit it. And I can just move this up to where a skirt ought to be. And I'm going to move it forward a little bit. And you can see it has parts that stick out and so on. But you can see this one has a lot of room for improvement, but that's okay.
A lot of room for tweaking and trying out different things. Well, I think we're at about an hour's time, and that was our
Okay.
plan. Before
Yeah.
we end, I just wondered if you wanted to say something about GPA. I don't know if you have a little promotional
Oh,
location or sign, but
I started GPA or Ghost Raven Professional Attire because I got really tired of only being able to find skanky looking things to wear to education events in virtual worlds.
huh,
So
yep.
I started at least 6 years ago making system clothing and making it the way I want it. And I've learned very slowly over the years. I figured I might as well offer it all for sale. And I don't sell much stuff, but it's fun to have a shop. I love creating textures. I love creating new things. And what I have is basically several basic articles of clothing that can come in a variety of patterns and colors. Um, and you can ask me to make something new. James is wearing one of my creations. Let
I
me
am.
zoom
That's
in
right.
there.
And a very lovely jacket.
Yeah, thank you. That's a snowflake jacket that I made for winter.
Yep.
All of these things are available free in my shop exhibit at the OpenSim Community Conference Grid. It's on Exhibit Expo Region 5. So you can go there and just take one of everything if you like. There are men's clothes upstairs and women's clothes downstairs, and you can wear whatever you want on whatever avatar you want.
That's awesome. And then, do you have a home grid for your store?
Second Life.
Second Life. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're bringing some of these things to Open Simulator.
Yeah, thank you. I test everything here because the texture uploads are free. So while I'm tweaking things, I can upload textures a whole lot of times.
Oh, it makes such, yeah, for experimenting, you have to have that flexibility.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, if anyone else has any other questions, I'm open to it. But otherwise, I think we can wrap for today. I know
Thanks,
there's
Beth.
so much more to explore. Yeah, thank you
Thank you
so
all for
much.
coming. This I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
All right, bravo. And again, thank you everybody for your interest in Open Simulator Community Conference. And we are looking forward to 2023.
Yes.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.